beaten and left to die.
Tonight, a homeless man relives the ordeal.
A homeless man who was allegedly beat up by a group of teens is speaking out tonight, and you won't believe what he has to say. We're live with the story.
Residents in a small mining town hoping for a miracle.
The fate of an American journalist uncertain after an imposed deadline passes.
A lot of popular attractions have been coming to downtown Miami, but how are the different venues dealing with the parking crunch? I'm Amber Stone with that story coming up.
And the heat back home. We're live with the highlights.
This is NBC 6 News at 11.
I was screaming real hard and calling, police, police.
With his cuts and bruises still visible, a homeless man speaks out about being the victim of a brutal beating. Raymond Perez was severely beaten outside a church last week and is just one of the victims in a string of attacks.
Since then, 3 teenagers have been arrested in connection with the crimes. And today, Perez had a message for them as he recapped the horrifying ordeal.
Tom Yamas is live in Fort Lauderdale with tonight's top story.
Well, Raymond Perez was beaten up just around this corner here at the Church by the Sea in Fort Lauderdale. He says he survived the attack because somebody in the neighborhood apparently turned on a light and it scared off his alleged attackers. And today he spoke for the first time. You might think revenge is on his mind, but he says that's the furthest thing from it. All banged up, but alive. Raymond Perez rolled out of Broward General in a wheelchair Friday afternoon. He leaves the hospital with 14 stitches to the head, an arm full of lacerations, and a bruised leg. But despite all that pain, Perez says he's ready to forgive.
I care so much about young kids. I want to work with them.
Police say Perez was one of 3 homeless men beat up last week in Fort Lauderdale by a group of teens. One of the victims, Norris Gaynor, died because of the attacks. Another beating was captured on this surveillance video.
I was sleeping with, my body was covered up with a blanket. And they woke me up, hitting with bats and everything.
Perez says he recognized the long-haired teen from the surveillance video. Police say that teen is 17-year-old Thomas Dougherty.
He looked at her and smiled. He looked at me, he looked back and smiled.
But police have charged 18-year-old Billy Ammons with aggravated battery in the Perez beating. Police say Perez was beaten with a golf club.
They used a weapon because I felt something cold going through my hands.
Perez thinks the teens who allegedly beat him were part of some group, a group he did not name, but according to Perez, have been after him for years.
Who put them up to this? The people that have been harassing me, the people that have been chasing me around.
Who are those people?
It's a lot.
Perez says that same mystery group put him out on the streets in the first place because they were, in his words, jealous of him.
This was the first thing that these people did. Chase me out of the job system, the rat race, as I call it. I used to dress good. There were a lot of girls looking for me in Miami.
And Perez will not be on the streets tonight. He is staying at some kind of rehabilitation center because he is still severely injured. We also asked Perez if he wanted to contact his family members, but for some reason, he said he'll probably call them in 3 months. Reporting live in Fort Lauderdale, Tom Yamas, NBC 6.
We are following developing news out of Fort Lauderdale, where police are looking for a young boy they say stole a car. The owner of a white Saturn says the boy, possibly 10 years old, took her car, then went for a spin around a Fort Lauderdale neighborhood. A passerby spotted the boy and called police. He ignored an officer's attempt to try and stop him and eventually crashed into another car.
I don't get how a 10-year-old can get into my car, hotwire it, and drive off in it without anyone seeing him doing that. And he drove a pretty far distance. And how did he learn how to do this? I mean, why should a 10-year-old be doing this?
The boy fled the scene. No one was seriously injured in the crash.
Well, tonight we are watching 2 big stories on this terror front. The kidnapper's deadline has passed in Iraq with no word about the American journalist kidnapped Jill Carroll. And for the second day, another terror tape from al-Qaeda has surfaced. Julia Yarbo is monitoring the very latest from satellite control. Julia?
Well, Tony, the waiting, the wondering, the uncertainty continues tonight. Is Jill Carroll alive, or did her captors carry out that threat of death? Tonight, still no word of her fate. For the family of Jill Carroll, the hours are agonizing. Pleading for his daughter's life, Carroll's father today sent a message to her captors via Middle Eastern television. He says his daughter is, quote, innocent, just a journalist. The 28-year-old was freelancing for the Christian Science Monitor when she was kidnapped earlier this month. And for the second time in as many days, an audio tape released from al-Qaeda. The latest tape, an audio recording from Osama bin Laden's #2 man. Now, on this tape, Ayman al-Zawahiri reads a poem praising quote, martyrs of holy war in Afghanistan, Iraq, and elsewhere. However, he does not mention the U.S. missile strikes last week in Pakistan, which actually targeted him. U.S. intelligence officials believe that indicates this particular tape is old. You'll recall just yesterday, Arab television aired an audio tape of Osama bin Laden making renewed threats to attack the U.S. Now, at this point, analysts are examining that audio tape by Osama bin Laden for certain words or phrases that he might be using to signal to al-Qaeda to carry out such an attack. However, authorities are not saying whether the recording truly does indicate anything about bin Laden's whereabouts. Inside Light Control, Julia Yarbo, NBC6.
Julia, thank you. Waiting and praying. For the second time in a month tonight, another West Virginia mining town is holding an around-the-clock vigil for miners trapped underground. This one happened at the Alma No. 1 mine in Melville. Brian Moore has the latest on the search for the missing miners.
Another West Virginia mining accident, another frantic search, another vigil for another community.
These are my family. I don't know them, that they're my brothers and they're my sisters. They're coal miners. That's what they do.
This latest life and death drama started about 5:30 Thursday evening when a carbon monoxide detector went off nearly 2 miles inside the Alma No. 1 mine. It was apparently tripped off by a conveyor belt fire. 19 miners made their way to safety, some crawling through choking black smoke on their hands and knees. But the two apparently headed off in another direction.
One of the good things about this being a large mine is that you've got some things going for you because you've got more room to get away from the smoke. So even though there's an area which is on fire, it's a very large mine, which means that you can keep moving ahead of the smoke, which gives you a lot of room to run in.
Crews spent much of the day in firefighting, not rescue mode.
One entry is clear. You open up a door and go through the next entry, and it's full of smoke, zero visibility.
Air tests showed there were breathable pockets inside the mine, raising hopes that the two miners had retreated inside and were waiting for help. More than 20 specialized mine rescue teams converged on this scene, eager to help, but for the most part, were forced to wait. In Melville, West Virginia, Brian Moore, NBC6.
A South Florida man is arrested for using the internet to arrange a sexual encounter with a teenager. According to investigators, Donald James went to Plantation today to meet with someone he thought was a 14-year-old girl. This after having sexually explicit internet communications with someone who turned out to be an undercover BSO detective. The 52-year-old is charged with computer child exploitation.
A key witness took the stand today in the notorious murder of South Florida casino cruise owner Gus Boulis. Boulis, who was the founder of the Miami Subs chain and Sun Cruise Casino's gambling fleet, was gunned down 4 years ago. Dwayne Nicholson testified in court today about sending money to the mob. In fact, he told the judge he was approached by all three defendants to kill Boulis, but that he didn't do it.
Thing with the conversation went like, nah, I can't kill nobody, but if you want me to break his leg, break his arm, you know what I mean, I have no problem with that. When I heard that he got killed, and I said, I was supposed to be there. Now they're going to come after me.
Two of the three men charged with killing Boulis are seeking bond. The hearing will continue next week. Well, tonight, some big events taking place in downtown Miami. Many people packing in to see the opening of Cirque du Soleil or watch the Miami Heat take on San Antonio. But if you've been downtown, you know one thing that's at a premium. We're talking about parking. Emerson has more on the mounting parking problems.
All right, so there was a sold-out Miami Heat game here at the American Airlines Arena that began at 8 o'clock, and at exactly the same time, just a few feet away from here, Cirque du Soleil had its sold-out premiere of Verikai. Needless to say, traffic was a nightmare, but all the people taking it in stride. Friday night, and it's bumper to bumper in downtown Miami with the Heat up against the Spurs. And these flexible Cirque du Soleil acrobats premiering Verikai at Bicentennial Park.
Yeah, absolutely crazy.
The two sold-out events happening just a few feet away from each other, forcing more than 22,000 folks to find parking in a tight location along Biscayne Boulevard.
We parked a few blocks back and we paid $20.
Not 40.
Not 40. I just saw it was 40 right here and I said, woo!
Just got here from the Marriott, so we took a taxi. $7 versus 40.
Parking's not a pain in the butt to figure out. It's a challenge.
Jared Haynes says this parking crunch will be a big challenge for the Miami Performing Arts Center, just a couple blocks from Friday's venues. The grand opening is in October, and Haynes hopes all 4,600 seats in the Opera House and Concert Hall will be filled during events.
You've got to work with what you have.
There's simply not enough space to build a garage, though. Even the American Airlines Arena has less than 1,000 spots for the 20,000 fans it accommodates on sold-out nights. So it's all about compromising.
All the existing lots include the Omni Garage. There's certain lots that are controlled by the Miami Parking Authority that we're talking to them about as well.
And to some, compromise is okay, as long as downtown offers fun events.
It's Miami and it's exciting, so you don't mind. You're going to a game and it's Friday afternoon, you're chilling.
And for future events, the Miami Parking Authority wants you to remember it does have a garage adjacent to the Miami-Dade College downtown campus on Northeast 3rd Street and Northeast 2nd Avenue. Parking there is only $10. In downtown Miami, Amros on NBC 6.
Amra, thank you. And after 3 weeks on the road, the Miami Heat is home. And as Amra said, back in action at the AAA. This is a live look at the arena where the Heat and fans were hoping for a happy homecoming tonight with a win against one of the best teams in the NBA, the defending champions. Guy Rawlings joins us live with more on tonight's game. Guy?
Yeah, the Heat return to South Florida for the first time since New Year's Day, as you said, hoping for a happy homecoming with the defending NBA champs in town. Last they met, Tim Duncan in San Antonio beat Miami by 14. The Spurs build a 15-point lead in the first half of this one, but Miami goes on a run. Dwayne Wade scoring 30 points or more in 4 of his last 5 games. Make that 5 of 6 after putting up 36 tonight. But guard Tony Parker was up to the task for San Antonio, dropping a career-high 38, stepping up after Manu Ginobili left the game with a sprained ankle. San Antonio wins 101-94. The Spurs have won 8 of the last 9 meetings with Miami, also running up a 4-game streak overall. More game highlights. Plus, Scotty goes to Nellyville. I'll explain all that coming up in sports. Jackie?
Guy, thank you, and be sure and join us Monday night at 7 o'clock as NBC6 brings you Access Heat. Joe Rose and myself will take you behind the scenes of the team, what happens before, during, and after the game, player profiles, and a whole lot more. Your all-access pass to the Miami Heat right here on NBC6 starting this Monday night at 7 p.m.
Well, Cuba will be allowed to play ball after all at the World Baseball Classic. The U.S. government reversing course today, granting the special license necessary for the communist nation to play in that 16-team tournament. At first, the Bush administration balked at the idea, saying it was concerned the Castro regime would profit from Cuba's appearance. But U.S. officials reversed course after Cuba said it would donate any profits to victims of Hurricane Katrina.
The Cuban exile leader who staged a dramatic 12-day hunger strike is back home tonight. Ramon Saul Sanchez was released from a Coral Gables hospital today. He ended his strike on Wednesday when the Bush administration agreed to meet with him to discuss U.S. immigration policy. Sanchez was protesting the repatriation of 15 Cubans who came ashore at the old 7-mile bridge in the Florida Keys, a bridge that is no longer connected to land.
The mother of 11-year-old murder victim Carly Brucia faced a judge today after being arrested on drug and prostitution charges. 36-year-old Nancy Shorpen allegedly exposed herself to an undercover officer and also had a crack pipe hidden in her bra. Shorpen's daughter, Carly, made national headlines, as you know, after she was abducted and murdered in 2004 by mechanic Joseph Smith.
Busted again. Local contractors accused of taking your tax dollars. A story you'll see only on NBC6.
And forget about standing in those long lines at the airport. There could be a way you could avoid all that hassle. And up the river, how did a whale end up in London on the scenic route?
Beats me.
Yeah.
Warm and cloudy as we take a live look tonight at South Florida skies. So will the warm weather. Stick around for the weekend.
Meteorologist John Gerard is in the Weather Plus Storm Center tonight with all that information. John?
Yeah, Tony, Jackie, the last couple of weekends we've been dealing with cold fronts, strong cold fronts. This weekend, oh, it couldn't be any different. We're going to be talking about highs in the 80s. There is a cold front over the middle of the country right now, but it's still about 4 or 5 days away. We're in good shape. I've got that 6-day forecast coming up.
Many South Floridians are owed money, and we want them to get it back. Millions of dollars. Thousands of people. One of them could be you.
$49,000.
Payback starts next Thursday at 11 on NBC6. It's everywhere. Newspaper, radio, magazines, television, internet, even on your cell phone. Opinions, blogs, information is everywhere. Getting the facts takes real commitment.
Our commitment to you is to get it right.
We have seen both those victims.
Why did something immediately happen?
Reporting live from Miami and Miramar.
Deerfield Beach. We are definitely going to stay on top of that.
NBC6, South Florida's news leader.
Tonight, a team of contractors is under arrest again.
That's right. Investigators claim they took your tax money in exchange for faulty work.
Patricia Andreu has details of a story you'll see only on NBC 6.
You can call it the fleecing of South Florida. At least that's what Miami-Dade's Inspector General says it is, as his office continues to investigate contractors who they say are using taxpayer money to do shoddy drainage work. Under arrest again, Mitchell Torino and brother George of Magna Construction, along with their foreman Leoncil Echevarria, the trio charged with defrauding the public. The Inspector General's office says Magna Construction botched a flood water drainage project in this area north of the Golden Glades interchange.
You know, we're in an active hurricane cycle now, and there's with these storms come enormous amounts of rain, flood waters, and so now we have to be concerned about the quality of the work that was performed by these people.
The truth is going to come out. I'm not a bad contractor.
We first met the Torinos and Echevarria last July when they were arrested for installing used materials at this southwest Miami-Dade site. The IG's office claiming Magna even billed the county for work that was never done, a charge Torino vehemently denied.
From being one of the better contractors to from one day to the next being someone that is doing fraud work, no. I'm a good person.
The work was part of a $750,000 drainage contract the county awarded Magna Construction. Also under investigation, SRS Engineering, hired by the county to inspect Magna's work in the north end of Miami-Dade.
In this case, the inspectional service failed miserably. The inspector simply took the word of the contractor that they had done the work. In fact, they had not.
We were unable to reach anyone at SRS Engineering for comment. Whether all of this work will have to be redone at taxpayers' expense remains to be seen. The IG's investigation continues. In Northwest Miami-Dade, Patricia Andreu, NBC 6.
You may soon be able to move quickly through airport security checkpoints if you're willing to pay a price. And we're not talking just about money here. It's a story that we're working on with our coverage partners at the Sun Sentinel. It's called the Registered Traveler Program. Here's how it works. Qualified passengers would be placed in their own line and avoid that random secondary screening. Here's the catch, though. There's an $80 to a $100 fee, and you would also have to submit to rigorous background checks. The program could be in place in certain airports around the country by June. South Florida airports, however, are considering whether to participate in the first place.
More transit troubles in New York. Today, union workers rejected the latest contract offer by a mere 7 votes. The latest development comes a month after thousands of transit workers walked off the job for 3 days. The rejected deal would have given union workers pay raises ranging from 3 to 4%, but it also would have required them for the first time to start paying for their own health care premiums.
NBC 6 Weather Plus Doppler Radar is brought to you by the Miccosukee Tribe of Indians of Florida.
Well, take a look at Weather Plus Doppler live radar tonight. We've got a narrow little line of showers moving in from east to west across central Broward County tonight. Cooper City and Davie getting a few light rain showers as well. Put that into motion again. You can see it heading off to the west-northwest, so they'll wind up out in the western area as it crosses West Pines and goes west of I-75. That's Griffin Road right there. And you can see again, if you're in that area around 136th Ave and Griffin Road, you're going to get a few showers out there. And right around Orange Drive as well. So we'll see these showers coming in off the ocean from time to time tonight and then fading away as we get into the daytime hours tomorrow. Again, just a result of ocean moisture moving in with those easterly winds. So not a bad situation, really. Most of us are home now, and it's a good time for it to be raining is overnight. Keeps things wet and damp. You might not even have to use a sprinklers tomorrow, so that's good there. All right, 80 was our official high today, 70 the official low this morning, 77 and 59 are the normals this time of the year, 87 and 30 are the record highs and lows, 30 way back in the 1800s. Beautiful sunset. We captured this on our Eastern Financial Skycam. There goes the sun as we overlook western Broward County. The official sunset time right around 5:56 this evening. Looks like a warm weekend, low pressure over the Midwest. High pressure over the Carolinas. The combination of those two weather systems will keep it breezy here this weekend. Those ocean breezes with sun and clouds. Look for high temperatures around 82 Saturday and Sunday. Last couple of weekends were very cold. This weekend is going to be unusually warm for January. Here comes the cold air. plunging to the south, as is usually the case across the lower 48. When it's cold in one part of the country, it's very warm in the other. And we've got very balmy temperatures for this time of the year covering the country east of the Mississippi tonight. 32 in Chicago right now. That's right at the freezing point, and there is heavy snow falling in the Windy City. They're expecting about 3 to 5 inches of snow tonight and early tomorrow. The cold front extending out of that system will get in here along about Tuesday or Wednesday, but it's going to be weak by the time it gets here. It's only going to get us a few scattered showers, and that's about it. Otherwise, clear to partly cloudy skies most of the state tonight. A few clouds out there over the ocean will be moving in with those easterly winds. And if you're a football fan, I've got some good news. Broncos and Steelers game on Sunday, clear and cool, 40 degrees. Then later in the evening, Seahawks and Panthers, cool, 40 degrees as well. Good football weather. All right, breezy here over the weekend. Good baseball weather. Highs in the 80s, nighttime lows in the 70s. Have a great weekend. For the latest on South Florida weather, 24 hours a day, turn to NBC 6 Weather Plus. It's on Atlantic Broadband Channel 941, Digital 6.2. Live right there on your computer, NBC6.net. We will be right back.
Forget train spotting. Whale watching is now the big game in London. A northern bottlenose whale is in the River Thames, swimming under London's bridges.
Can you believe this? A 17-foot, 7-ton whale is now several dozen miles upstream from its natural habitat. And the concern here is its health, obviously, because it needs salt water. Marine mammal experts are on standby and rescue boats. However, the whale was now last spotted downstream, which suggests it may be heading back to sea.
That is good news, but I'm sure it was a good sightseeing for the Londoners.
Yeah.
Sports with Guy Rawlings is next.
We'll be right back.
Closed captioning on NBC6, brought to you by City Furniture, now offering same-day delivery 7 days a week.
After spending almost 3 weeks away from home, the Heat finally returned to the AAA, where they'll play 15 of the next 22 games. First up, the defending world champs San Antonio Spurs. Dwayne Wade nursing a sore ankle. Fighting through it, though, tonight, scoring 6 of Miami's first 12 points, 2 right at the Spurs defense. Huge first half for Tony Parker, though. Steals the inbounds pass, drains the 3-ball at the end of the first quarter. Parker good for 20 in the half. His partner in crime, Tim Duncan, inside against Alonzo Mourning. Spurs closed out the half on a 19-7 run to take a 49-38 lead at the break. Miami almost lost Wade, not to injury. Flash nearly losing his cool after the refs don't call the Spurs' Rasha Nesterovic for this knee to the thigh. Wade does get teed up, but not teed off. Second half, Heat get things going. Wade finds Udonis Haslem to Shaq for the lay-in and one. The Heat get within 4, 58-54. Then just before the third quarter, Wade stops, pops, and drops like it's hot, 27-3. Heat take the lead in the fourth. Shaq dishes to Antoine Walker. 3-ball, 80-78 Miami. Their first lead since the second quarter, but the Spurs just too much tonight. Parker puts the final nail in this one. Career-high 38 points. Spurs sweep the season series 101-94. Shaq and Wade combined for 59, but not enough for the Heat, who dropped their second in a row.
Just a tough loss. From the standpoint of, digging ourselves out of the hole. The only thing I look at is, does it make any difference what happens in the first half for 82-78 with, 7 or 8 minutes to go, and the outscored is 21-10 going on out.
After helping rebuild the Dolphins offense, Scott Linehan is moving on up the coaching ranks, becoming the new head coach of the St. Louis Rams. Linehan, officially introduced to the St. Louis media today, gets a 4-year deal from the Rams, but more importantly, gets to live out a lifelong dream.
It's fulfilling a dream, and being in the greatest profession in the world and being in the greatest league in the world. I mean, how lucky am I?
Who will replace Linehan with the Dolphins? Former Bills head coach Mike Mularkey leads a short list that also includes former Rams head coach Mike Martz. By this time Sunday, we'll know who's headed to Super Bowl 40 and who's not. The Broncos host Pittsburgh with a chance at their third Super Bowl trip in the last 9 years. But to get there, they need to slow down a Steelers pass rush that sacked Peyton Manning 5 times.
That's what this defense will do. They're going to keep coming until they get a guy free. They're not going to give me a lot of time to stand back there and go through progressions and hold the ball. Hopefully, they don't catch you with your guard down or catch you in the wrong protection and cause a big play or cause a turnover.
That's a look at sports. I'm Guy Rawlings. More after this.
So who are you picking Sunday?
You know what? Everybody's asking me that, but the games have been so tight, I'm afraid to pick. I'm serious. How tight have those games been?
How about you, Tony? Who do you pick?
I'm going with Carolina and Pittsburgh.
That's a good one.
The two road teams.
Pittsburgh's been playing very tough physical football.
Yeah, I got to go with that, too. I got to go with that. I don't want to look past Denver. Denver, I think, has got a solid team, but I got to like Pittsburgh.
It's all about Jake Plummer's hair.
That's what it is, yeah.
Been a great run. Have a good one, everyone.
NBC6 is South Florida's news leader. Stay with NBC6 for the latest news all weekend long. And for news 24 hours a day, visit us on NBC6.net.